Nah, but on a real note though, if this card gets nerfed in Clash Royale, then let me tell you, there's a lot that's gonna change. What the absolute heck is going on, gamers? It is your boy Solar Fury, and today we are back with some more Clash Royale. And do we have some exciting stuff today? Because it is almost time for the balance changes to be announced. So these balance changes could be really important for Clash Royale. We already have a few things that have been confirmed for these balance changes, but I also have a lot of speculation for some other cards that will potentially be getting balanced that could really shake up the meta. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I think these past couple waves of balance changes have been really good for Clash Royale because they have definitely targeted some of the problem cards in Clash Royale, like the Musketeer, the Heal Spirit, Skeleton Dragons, things like that. So hopefully the balance team continues to do a good job. So we're actually going to start out on Twitter. Now, I don't know if many of you realize this, but I do have a Twitter, only 16 followers. I made it recently, September 2020, and I tweet every now and then. So if you want to follow that, and go ahead and follow. We're going to take a look at some juicy news in another place. So here we are looking at a tweet from Drew Byan, who is the community manager for Clash Royale. So he is a credible source. And so here's a tweet that he posted. He was replying to someone else's tweet, and here's what he said. We do already speak to a lot of pros about our balancing, and our next update will feature some of that feedback. Hint. And then with that hint, he does two emojis. We have a skull emoji and we have a coffin emoji. So what does this actually mean? So to me, this can mean two things. It could mean either a balance to the tombstone, which I think is the less likely of the two, or it could mean a potential balance to the graveyard. Now, as I said earlier, if this card gets balanced, if the graveyard does get balanced in some way, it could change a lot of things in Clash Royale, because the graveyard has been one of the most consistent win conditions in all of Clash Royale for a very long time, really the past year, I guess you could say. And when looking at its stats, we can see that that still remains true. Currently, it has a 17% usage rate, which is the 12th best out of all cards in the entire game, and it is the best out of all win conditions, and it also has a very high win rate at 55%. So with that being the case, I think it is more likely that we get either a nerf or a rework to the graveyard, but here's what I have to say about that.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
I'm someone who does play a lot of Splash Shard. Splash Shard has been one of my main decks for the past year. I've spent a lot of time playing it, hundreds and hundreds of matches, trying to get good with it. And what I've noticed through that is that the graveyard is not the problem with Splash Shard. The thing that makes graveyard so strong are the cards that surround the graveyard in the deck. So let's take Splash Shard as an example. The cards in most Splash Shard decks we can see are some of the best cards in the entire game. The Barbarian Barrel is in a lot of Splash Shard decks. It's a really good card. The Knight is in a lot of Splash Shard decks. It's a really good card. The Baby Dragon is in a lot of Splash Shard decks. The Poison, of course, the Tornado, and the list just goes on and on. We have the Barbarian Hut, Goblin Cage. These are all cards that are prominent in Splash Shard and just graveyard decks in general. And in my opinion, I think that is what makes the graveyard really good. So if Clash Royale were to nerf the graveyard, I personally wouldn't really agree with that change. And it's not just because I am a graveyard player. It is just simply because the graveyard is not the problem. It is the cards that are surrounding the graveyard. So now we're going back over to Twitter to take a look at the Electro Giant, which has also been confirmed for a buff. So of course, this maintenance break came a while ago in which they added a 12.5% hit point increase to the Electro Giant, but he's actually going to be getting another buff in this balance change, and we can see that right here. In our next update, we will also be increasing his counterattack damage that he deals, so it scales alongside his level. This change can't exist in the current version of the game, so it requires a release in the next version, but it'll be coming soon. So that coming soon will be with the Season 17 update. So basically what this means is that the Electro Giant's counterattack damage will scale with the card's actual level. So previously, a max level Electro Giant at level 13 would still have the exact same counterattack damage as a level 6 Zap. So now that will scale, so that way it'll be a level 13 Electro Giant has the same counterattack damage as a level 13 Zap would, which is a really good change. And it is a change that is definitely needed because, as you can see, the Electro Giant in terms of usage rates is the worst card in the entire game. When you have a usage rate less than the Elite Barbarians, you are a garbage card. So those are really the only things that we've gotten news on from Clash Royale and from people that work at Supercell. So the rest of this video is just going to be purely speculation on my part. So one card I definitely think we could be seeing a balance to would be the Barbarian Hut. The Barbarian Hut is arguably oppressive, even though its stats may not show it. It is a very strong card in all aspects. The Barbarians are just relentless. You have to keep responding to them because otherwise they're going to do a lot of damage. We have the death wave of Barbarians, and out of all the spawners, the Barbarian Hut is still, it stays alive the longest. It is kind of a problem card in the meta right now, and it's in the best deck in Clash Royale right now, which is a graveyard deck, I'd like to add as well. So Barbarian Hut, I think it needs a nerf of some sort, probably a lifetime reduction. That would definitely help it, I think. Either a lifetime reduction or a reduction to how many waves of barbarians it spawns. So two more cards I think could be getting nerfs are actually right next to each other right here, being the xbow and the Electro Spirit. Now, I've personally advocated for xbow nerf in the past, but its stats don't really justify it. But now its stats are better than they have been in an extremely long time. And I think the xbow definitely needs a nerf, especially when paired with the Electro Spirit, because replacing the Electro Spirit with the Ice Spirit in xbow decks makes xbow that much stronger. And so both these cards I think could use a nerf. I feel like a broken record with xbow, but an HP nerf, a DPS nerf, a lifetime nerf, any of those would be good. And for the Electro Spirit, maybe reduce the amount of units it can change onto. Maybe, I think right now it changes onto 9 units, maybe make it so it changes only onto like 6 or something like that. And another card I would nerf is right down here as well, with that being the Battle Healer. The Battle Healer got that same buff that the Royal Ghost did, where, you know, it can now hover over the river. And the Battle Healer is honestly very, very strong. Now, her stats may not show it, but in gameplay, when using the Battle Healer, she's a very strong card. She's really only used in 2 main archetypes, with those being Elixir Golem and Bridge Spam. But the Battle Healer, man, she does need a nerf, because I am an Elixir Golem player. That is another one of my main decks, and she is... oh my goodness, she is so strong. I literally made a whole video simping for this card. I mean, I think that just shows how strong she is. So in terms of nerfs, I think that's really all I'm going to advocate for. We have the Barbarian Hut, we have the xbow, we have the Electro Spirit, and we also have the Battle Healer. Now, in terms of buffs, of course, I already talked about the Electro Giant with his buff getting confirmed. But to keep it real, the majority of the cards down here, they need more so reworks than buffs, except for, like, I would say the Goblin Giant, the Bowler, and the Fly Machine, because those cards aren't bad. They are just very niche cards that are only good in like 1 or 2 decks. I feel like those cards are fine. Everything else down here, and in like Mortar as well, everything else down here just kind of needs like a rework. Like the Witch could benefit from a rework, so could the Goblin Hut, you know, same with the Executioner, Elite Barbarians, Furnace. All these cards down here are just kind of problem cards, but they're problem cards that like aren't oppressive. They're just issues, man. One card I do think could use a buff could be the Firecracker, because they did nerf her a while back, and like she wasn't, you know, like extremely good before, but she was definitely an annoying card to deal with. Maybe buffing her a little bit. I don't know how they could buff her without making her annoying again, but buffing her a little bit would be good to see, because the Firecracker right now is complete garbage. 37% win rate is not good at all. So I'd like to see a little bit of a change to the Firecracker. But in terms of buffs, man, I mean, all these cards down here, as I said, kind of need reworks. And to keep it real with you, Clash Royale is an extremely balanced game right now. It's not like there's one archetype that is just dominant over the rest. I guess if you could say Graveyard is up there as one of those archetypes, but in general, the majority of archetypes in Clash Royale are viable, which is really good to see. Honestly, you can go into a match really with any archetype and you will have a chance of winning. It's not like it has been in the past where like certain archetypes just stand out above the rest. And I really like that about Clash Royale right now. It's a super balanced game. But yeah, gamers, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's Clash Royale video. Let me know what cards you guys would like to see balanced in the comment section down below. And also let me know if you guys disagree with any of my opinions of cards that Clash Royale should balance in the comment section down below. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, then be sure to leave a like down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. And also, if you guys are new to the channel and you like all things Clash Royale, then be sure to subscribe down below. I'd greatly appreciate it, because I cover all types of Clash Royale content on this channel. Decks, balance changes, memes, anything, honestly. But anyway, gamers, it's your boy Solar Fury signing off. Peace out, guys. Have a nice day.